Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. And yes, we are doing this again this year. This is the Stone 12 Days of IPA pack. Pardon. 12 different IPAs in the 12 pack. No word yet as to whether or not Clown Shoes is doing their 12 beers at Christmas, but we'll keep an eye out for that. Kyle M., thanks for the heads up on the definitive pack. Definitive Brewing down in Portland, Maine, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that all in one go. That's 24 beers in that pack. Basically a full-on advent calendar of all definitive brews, and they have some great beers, but I definitely don't think I can handle 24 beers in 24 hours. It'd be an all-day marathon. Plus, I'm probably not going to be anywhere near the area where you can pick one up because you have to go down to their tap room. Pardon. I don't think I'm going to be down there anytime before Christmas. And this is great. If I'm already starting to have issues with my voice and phlegm, then the rest of this video is going to be fucking spectacular, isn't it? All right, so we're going to do these in the order that they've got them listed on the pack. As in previous years, it's probably not the best order based on IBUs or ABV, but it's easier than me trying to rearrange and shuffle them 500 times as I go through them. I will be cleansing with water in between each one so that we get a fresh palate, so hopefully it doesn't get too wrecked, but 12 IPAs later by the end of this, yeah, it's going to be fun. It always is. Anyway, so we're going to start off, and I'm not going to bother giving you the rundown. I'm just going to start off by giving you the first beer in the pack right off the bat, which is one of the best ones in here, Stone's Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA. I've talked to some folks recently. There are not enough black IPAs out there. Jay McKay, check out his YouTube channel, by the way, Keg House, Keaghaus Brewing. He did a black IPA not too long ago. Thanks for putting more of them into the world, buddy. Anyway, Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA, 8.7% ABV. IBUs are not listed there or on the bottle. And as in, sometimes I do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read any of these that have a description on the label because the Stone bottle labels, the Stone labels are always worth reading. Holy shit. Wow. Not even one beer in, and I'm already... Yeah, this is going to be fun. Between the phlegmy voice and the not being able to speak straight already. All right. Stone Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA. Originally released as Stone 11th Anniversary Ale in 2007, the creation we now know as Stone Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA grew into one of the most notoriously bold chapters in Stone history. So much so that over the years it became our #1 most requested Bring It Back release of all time. We're thrilled to share this limited return with those who clamored for it to come back, and even more excited for those tasting this deep, rich, hoppy magic for the first time. That is one of the nice things about Stone's anniversary brews. If they get enough attention for it, they will bring it back as a regular brew. Oh, that wound up right in my lap. Ooh, that smells good. I can smell it all the way from up here when I open the bottle. I gotta stop with the throat clearing. That's probably not sounded too good on the camera. Look at that. Look at that. Barely any light coming up through that, but where it is, you can see these little tiny bubbles just cascading from that nucleation point at the bottom of the bottom of the glass. But very, very, very dark beer. Does have a bit of a brownish tinge around the edges where there's a lot of light coming through. It's got a nice dark head on it too. Dark brown head with small bubbles. Just an overall roasty and hoppy bitterness coming off of that. It's like the roastiness of the malt ends blending perfectly with the hoppy bitterness from the hop aroma, and just making this really amazing smelling beer. Oh, man. Yes, I don't get enough of these. Nice medium to medium heavy mouthfeel. It's smooth. Has a lot of body to it. What's great is it comes in nice and dark and roasty. It's got all kinds of slightly sweet, maybe a tinge of caramel and toffee notes coming in, because it's just got that heavily roasted malt character. And then that just blends perfectly into this great hoppy flavor. Just an overall hoppy bitterness. It's not quite resolving to a specific note. Maybe slightly dank and earthy. Maybe and slightly, emphasis on both of those. But overall, just an amazingly well put together beer. Again, it's one of the few black IPAs out there, and sometimes they don't work out so well. Think of like a beer that tries to put a coffee twist on an IPA. Sometimes the two types of bitterness work together well. Other times they don't. It just depends on who put it together and what combination of ingredients they used. So black IPAs don't always work out, and that might be why there's so few of them, or they may be really technically difficult to make. I don't know. Ask Jay. But when they come together well, they come together perfectly. Sublimely Self-Righteous Black IPA is getting a 4 out of 5 today. I'm going to finish it up, and we're going to move on to the next one. All right, and the next one up is Stone IPA. Just their plain old, well, nothing plain old about it, but just the Stone IPA. 6.9% ABV. This is here the iconic West Coast style IPA. This is the IPA that put us on the map. Long before IPAs were craft brewing's most prominent beer style. Yes, that did seem to happen pretty quickly. This beer was in our lineup, distinguished by bright hop fruitiness, piney vibrancy, and tantalizing bitterness. Stone IPA has stood tall as the epitome of the West Coast style IPA since 1997. Stone IPA has inspired countless others, including all of our myriad of IPAs, double IPAs, and triple IPAs that have collectively earned our reputation as one of the most passionate and artful hop-driven breweries on the planet. That's true. Stone does make some really great IPAs. They make some really good other beer styles too, though. Seems to happen with some breweries. Like there's just an IPA heavy catalog, but they're also caving to market demand because everybody seemed to go crazy for IPAs, and I don't know. Throwing a bunch of hops in your signature brew does not make it a good IPA, but a lot of people think so. And then they get to the point where there's 12 IPAs on the menu out of 14 beers, and you can't really tell one from the next sometimes. But Stone has been very, very good at keeping the IPA variety varied. Slightly hazy. Nice golden orangish yellow color. Very effervescent. Lots of bubbles coming up from there. Nice color to that. Pardon. Just an overall hoppy bitterness and an almost neutral aroma. It's like there's just this bitter hoppiness to it, but it's just faintly there. It's not overwhelming or anything. Nice medium mouthfeel. Up front, it's got a bit of a fruitiness, fades to a citrusy, piney combination. The hop profile doesn't quite hit you right up front. It's like at first there's just this nice general beery quality to it with a decent malt backbone, and then all of a sudden, as it rolls off the back of your palate while you're swallowing it, you get hit with this minor wave of hoppiness that resolves itself into a fruity, citrusy character, and then very quickly the pininess kicks in. Overall, just a really, really good, solid IPA. Pardon. There's nothing that stands out about it. Now, back in 1997, when IPAs hadn't gotten caught on and were so popular, this beer probably would have been rated higher by folks who really like IPAs because it's so well done and so different. These days, I hate to say it, but even Stone's IPA is kind of run-of-the-mill. Not because it's a bad beer or because it's just average, because it is really well done. It's just that there are, out of, let's say, 50 IPAs that are in this same West Coast style that aren't trying to be too crazy, you're going to find maybe 10 of them that are at least as good as this beer. So it doesn't stand out from that crowd of 10 like it would have a few years ago even. So that's all why I'm just justifying the fact that I'm rating this at a 3.5 out of 5. Now I'll try to only say this once during the video, but a 2.5 on a scale of 1 to 5 is average. So 3.5 is a distinctly above average rating for any beer. The reason this isn't getting the 4, the 4.5, or getting higher is because, again, it doesn't stand out from the crowd as much as it used to. I've had a lot of really good West Coast style IPAs. I've had a lot of really mediocre and not so good ones too, but it doesn't stand out like it used to. I'm repeating myself. I'm standing by the 3.5 rating, which again is distinctly above average. Nothing saying this is a bad beer. It's just not blowing my mind. Anyway, I'm going to finish that up and we're going to move on to the next one, which is apparently the Delicious IPA. All right, third up is Stone's Delicious IPA at 7.7% ABV, and it just says the Stone Gargoyle, our loyal guardian, and your symbol of quality. That I think they've got that on most of their bottles. Says here it's vegan. For those of you that matters to. No write-up on this bottle, so nothing to read. Nice gold cap instead of the blacks. Ones that we've seen in the other bottles. Now, I did take a quick peek on Clown Shoe's website, and they are doing a 12 Beers of Christmas this year, so that will probably show up here on the channel at some point if I'm able to get one, because according to their beer finder on the site, nobody within 50 miles of me is getting it, so I'm hoping that's wrong. Again, slightly hazy, nice orangish, golden orangish yellow color. Very effervescent. Good looking beer. I'd almost say that looks like glowing honey. And again, not much of a hop aroma coming off of it. Just a general hoppy bitterness. Somewhat subdued. Nice medium mouthfeel. Also smooth. No surprises there. These are all going to be pretty smooth. They are Stone IPAs after all. And that's another one. It just kind of lives up to the hype. It's a delicious IPA. As it goes in, I'm getting an overall hoppy bitterness, start to finish. It's kind of resolving to some slightly citrusy and piney notes, which is not unusual for me. I'm more keyed towards citrus and pine anyway, so I'm going to pick up on those. There's a hint of earthy, maybe some grassiness, hint of dankness possibly. Not really getting any floral, maybe in the finish, rolling off the tongue, maybe a hint of floral. And so again, it's another really well-rounded IPA with a hop profile where I'm getting either most or all of the primary hop esters that you would expect. For that reason, the Delicious IPA is getting pushed up to a 4 out of 5. It's on that same level with the pretty above average regular Stone IPA. Burp. Pardon, there's going to be a lot of fucking burps in this video apparently. But the fact that at different points during the drinking of it, I'm getting, again, multiple different flavors, hop esters, the different character of the hops, that's getting it a couple of extra points. So I'm going to finish this one up, and then we're going to move on to the next one. All right, the next one up is Stone's Hazy IPA. Now, I believe this was actually new not that long ago. An amazingly hazy IPA, amazingly hazy. 6.7% ABV. IPAs were once considered an extreme style. Yes, they were. Only for hardcore beer nerds like, say, us. Today, we're stoked to see IPA is the most popular style of craft beer in the world, and quite proud of our role in getting it there. There's no denying juicy hazy IPAs like this one have fueled the popularity. With Stone Hazy IPA, we say, hell yeah, embrace the evolution. So I get it. I remember recently, if I posted the Sam Adams throwback pack before I post this video, I shared the story of how I came to appreciate hoppy beers. And yeah, they're not for everybody, but somehow they immediately took off overnight, and now everybody loves IPAs, to the point where I've also made the point earlier in this video, where some breweries, their beer catalog includes nothing but IPAs, and they're not necessarily good. They're just indistinguishable hoppy beers, and it is what it is. But along those same lines, at some point, people decided that hazy IPAs were the only good IPAs, and that in order to be good, an IPA had to be hazy. That is not the fucking case. I miss Sam Adams' Rebel IPA. It was one of the nicest non-hazy IPAs I ever had. And along the same lines, though, they had the Rebel Raw, which was an unfiltered IPA, which was incredibly hazy, but it was so fucking good. And it didn't last long, unfortunately. I think it only saw one release. But it's not to say a hazy IPA can't be good, but it's also to say that an IPA doesn't need to be hazy to be good. So, somewhat effervescent, very, very hazy, juicy looking. It looks like a glass of orange juice, like not pulpy orange juice, because the particulates are so fine that it wouldn't be pulp, but it's a very, very hazy, very thick looking, cloudy, whatever, milky even. But you can see where the light comes through down here, and it has a hard time penetrating the particulates up here. Big difference. Nice orangish color. Again, very juicy looking. Also very juicy smelling. It has a heavy citrus influence on the hop profile in the aroma. Still not like this face full of hops smell, though. Just a muted aroma, but definitely a juicy, citrusy aroma. Heavy mouthfeel. But also still quite smooth. Somewhat like a mildly citrusy, juicy, almost sweet flavor up front. Fades to a kind of grassy and then earthy, grassy kick in the middle there, and then like an earthy finish. So definitely good, definitely solid. Definitely nothing bad I can say about it. It's smooth, easy to drink. It's awesome. At 6.7% ABV, it's a little bit of a step down from what we've been doing so far. Yeah, if I go in order of how they're listed on the box, the ABVs are all over the place. 8.7, 6.9, 7.7 to 6.7. Pardon. Nothing mild, to be honest, but definitely, nothing too crazy either. But again, with the Hazy IPA, it's just kind of there. And it's definitely a good... The hiccups are trying to break through here. We're only 4 beers in. Not even a third of the way through the pack, and I'm already going hick, hick, hick. Like a fucking drunk in an old cartoon. I think I've tamped them down for now. But, that being the case... Again, it's not standing out from the crowd of other decently tasting, well put together hazy IPAs. I'm hitting this one again with a 3.5 out of 5. It's nice and significantly above average. It's just not giving me anything different, unique, or unusual to throw out there. And I think honestly I've rated most of these beers higher in the past, but that's the thing. It's the landscape has evolved. There are more beers that are similar to other beers that have previously blown you away out there. So, it's different. Back in the day, a Guinness would have been like the perfect stout. It would have been inarguably an amazing stout. Now it's just kind of a good stout because everybody else is making stouts and they're throwing different flavor elements in there that are really fucking impressive. I would honestly put Guinness at a 3.5 or a 4, depending on how I'm feeling at the time, because, beer taste is subjective, and it depends on how you're feeling at the time, too. So just, as an example, Guinness used to be like the quintessential stout. Now it's just kind of a really good stout. So, anyway... I'm going to try not to do too many of those segues, but it's too fucking late. I'm only 4 beers into this pack, and I've already wasted, at least 5 or 6 minutes of people's time. Oh, and shit, not really into these beers. But, anyway, it's only going to get worse from here on out, folks. I'm going to finish this up. We're going to move on to the next beer. All right, next up, Stone's Delicious Citrus IPA. At 7.7%, same as the original Delicious IPA. Also, no info on the label. Basically, going from memory here and the name of the beer, guessing that it is an iteration of the Delicious IPA that heavily features citrus hops. Got a decent pour on that. Holy crap, that looks pretty hazy too. fairly hazy. Also a much juicier looking version of the delicious IPA. It also honestly looks a lot like that last Hazy IPA. It's got a very hazy profile. The particulates seem finer. The cloudiness has a more milky character to it. It's less effervescent, and it does have a darker overall color, even though it does fade, or does change from a light yellow at the very bottom there to an orangey hue, a brass, copper, a coppery orange hue towards the top. A distinctly citrus aroma, although it's tinged with bitterness, hoppy bitterness, and it has that fleshy character, like the pith on an orange. It's got that. You can't really smell moistness, but you know what I mean, like that white fleshy character of the pith in an orange when you freshly peel it. That moistness, it's not an aroma, but it just has that character. It brings to mind a moist, fleshy character. Okay, it just sounds fucking gross when I keep saying it, but that's what I'm getting for the aroma. If you know what I'm saying, then you get it. If you don't, then don't worry about it. It's fucking citrusy. Nice medium mouthfeel. And that's weird. Up front, I'm actually getting an earthy. Well, up front, I'm getting like an earthy character to it. But then it fades to this almost cloyingly citrus character with a lot of that fleshy undertone. It's the bitterness mixing with the citrusy character that's getting me. It's interesting, because again, this is the delicious citrus, but I'm getting more earthy character from it than anything else. Now, I'm mostly keyed towards citrus and pine, so maybe it's just still overwhelmingly citrusy that I'm getting the earthy character, but again, it's distinctly fading to a citrusy aftertaste. But it's just a really, really heavy citrus without a tang, without that tang on the back end, just that citrus fruit character up front. Well, not up front, because up front I'm still getting that earthy character, but it's interesting and different. And it's not giving me what I expected based on the label description. Delicious citrus. I mean, that's really all the label description you're getting. The fact that I'm that earthy character, and that fades towards a cloyingly, well, not unpleasantly so, but just a cloyingly citrus character, is getting my attention, because as I said before, I'm mostly keyed towards citrus and pine, so for me to not get the citrus foremost and from start to finish is unusual, based on the fact that they just went for the citrus character, obviously, based on the name. So based on a lot in this freaking segment, but I'm just leading up to the fact that it's got my attention, it's surprising me, it's a little bit different, but the fact that I should be getting way more citrus and I'm not, it's like I'm conflicted here, because I want to give it a certain rating based on the fact that I'm getting something unexpected out of it, but at the same time, I should be getting way more of the citrus than I am, is pulling it back. I'm just going to go with the balanced approach to this. I'm going to hit it with a 3.5 out of 5. Again, significantly above average rating, but it should be giving me, of all people, a more citrusy character than it is, and I'm getting earthy. So, even though I'm impressed by the fact that it's different, and it's something that I'm not used to, at the same time, it's not what it should be for me, based on my expectations set by the label. So, there we are. 3.5 out of 5. That's where I'm going with that. I can't say anything else about it without repeating myself yet again. So, there we are. I honestly, I'm trying to cast my mind back to 12 months ago, and I think I had a similar confusing experience with this beer then, as I haven't touched the delicious citrus since the last time it was in the 12 Days of IPA pack. Not that I wouldn't go out and buy a Stone IPA, just so many other beers out there that I haven't grabbed it again. So anyway, I might have to go back and review that video myself, but this is where I'm at for now. 3.5 out of 5. Done talking about it, done explaining it. Not done bringing up the gas from it, though. All right, I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to move on to the next.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. FML, folks. Yeah, that's right. It's time for FML, Stone's Fear Movie Lions. Come on, we know what you guys are doing here. It's a hazy double IPA at 8.5% ABV, which is a bit of a jump up from the 7.7 and 6.7 prior to these two, but there's a 3 meter by 3 meter square in our Richmond, Virginia brewery with these 3 words painted on it. Fear Movie Lions, by the way. What 3... Oh, they're getting to it. See, now I'm throwing commentary into the label reading. All right, I gotta stop doing that. What 3 words? Exactly. For the uninitiated, that's what 3 words. It's a global addressing system to bring locations to the previously unlocatable. Inspired by the positive impact of this system, we decided to name this IPA after a 3 meter square in the brewery where it was created. Check it out. So now, when someone says to you, what 3 words, you can reply with your own answer. If it's Fear Movie Lions, we'll see you here. Alright. We know what FML is all about, right? Right. So, fucking FML. Here we go. I'll be honest, I liken this to the Stone Ghost Hammer. I think Ghost Hammer was an IPA as well. I missed that one. That one was actually pretty good. It had a decent backstory too, based on the brewery location and some creepy shit that was happening there. Got a decent head on this one, and it's also somewhat hazy. I can see the particulates way more than I can see the bubbles. I mean, I know from experience that I love this beer, but I hate particulates. Anytime I can see flecks and flocks sitting in that beer, it puts me right off. Intellectually, I know that it's going to go down smoothly and I'm not going to have like chunks on my tongue, but at the same time, I'm like, ugh. It just weirds me out. It throws me back to the old Orbits. Remember Orbits? Fucking syrupy flavored water with gelatin spheres floating in it. Ugh. Gross. So, alright. All that aside, slight effervescence. It's got a very light yellow color that fades to a darker orange. We've seen this in several of the previous beers. Oh, that's hoppy. Right up front, it's got a hoppy aroma. Maybe a hint of citrus to that. I'm not going to rehash the whole citrus thing with my palate, but definitely getting citrusy character in the aroma, but overall hoppy bitterness. Nice medium mouthfeel. Up front, it's got like this really nice combination of citrus and earthy. Fades to like a dank grassiness. Awesome. I mean, it's got a great hop profile. I mean, honestly, a decent malt backbone like all of these do, because it's there, it's grainy, but it's not, it's any graininess that you're getting from any of these beers is overwhelmed immediately by whatever hop profile is in there. But the fact that I'm getting a bit of an earthy citrusy and yet a dank grassy, I'm getting stuff that I'm not used to. FML, let's throw the name out there, come on. Gets extra points for that, I'm going to be honest. But the fact that the hop profile, it gives me stuff that I'm not used to. And it always has from day one with this beer. It just impresses me, it throws me off, and it turns me on at the same time. Turns me on. Ugh. But you know what I mean. Gets my attention and really turns me on. Fine, fuck it. That's what I said. That's what I'm going with.
FML, am I right?
You can't argue with the logic behind that. It's a good fucking beer. FML from Stone has always been a 5 out of 5 for me. Well, I don't know if it's always been a 5 out of 5, but it is tonight. So that's what it's getting. Refer back to my earlier comments about the subjectivity of beer taste. 5 out of 5. Loving it. I've always liked it. And right now I'm really feeling it. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to move on to the second half of this pack, because we're halfway through. Man, there is nothing like hitting the halfway point in the challenge and then just suddenly doubling down for whatever reason. We are at the Stone Delicious Double IPA, 9.4% ABV. Now, this is the second highest ABV of any beer in this pack. By the way, the first highest is in the last 3. It's the 27. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But anyway, after 6 beers, we're going with number 7 at 9.4% Delicious Double IPA. Nothing about the remark about the gargoyle. Other than that, no description here. So basically, I'm guessing what we're looking at here is an iteration of the double IPA with extra hops added, secondary fermentation, and my hiccups coming back with a vengeance. I thought I'd avoided these earlier and tamped them down, but here they are. Shit. All right. We're going to try and tamp them down now. We will revisit this issue in between beers and try to resolve it without you being subjected to it. It's actually less hazy than the last couple of beers we've looked at. It's got a nice golden honey-colored orangish glow to it. It's got a glowing character. When you look at the way the light's refracting through the beer, it seems to glow. Yes, honey-colored, light yellow to orange, slightly effervescent, slightly hazy, but not as hazy as some previous beers. This pack, excuse me. We're having all kinds of issues right now, including the fact that it's 62 degrees in here. I have to turn the heat back on and bring it up to 64. And that's where I keep my heat all winter. It's freaking ridiculous. I hate living in Maine. Don't be surprised if by the end of this video I just start wearing my fucking fleece robe. Overall hoppy aroma. Also somewhat muted though. It's not slapping me in the face with hoppy bitterness or any particular ester. Almost hit me with like a brewed tea aroma. Medium mouthfeel. Smooth, honestly slightly oily. Not in an unpleasant way, just slightly oily. Going down remarkably easy for such a high ABV beer. As we say, it was 9.4%. Holy shit, you would never know it. Dangerously easy to drink. Up front, fucking chills, man. Nice solid malt backbone. It's got an almost caramel character to it. Slight sweet roasty character. Just a bit grainy, but then it quickly gives way to this overall hoppy bitterness. It's like a big punch of hops. The second you swallow, bam, there they are. Slightly it resolves into pine, citrus, floral, but with an overall sweetness to it. It's different, it's interesting. You would never know that it's a 9+% ABV beer. I think the delicious double IPA is earning a 4.5 out of 5 from me. Just based on the fact that it is nowhere near as harsh as I would expect a 9.4% ABV beer to be. But it's also got this really well-rounded hop profile that's not... It's not a huge punch in the face, it's just kind of there. And overall, it just works. Anyway. That's as far as I'm willing to go to justify that right now. Four and a half out of 5. I'm going to finish this up. Should probably slow down and take my time with it. We'll move on to number 7. All aboard the Tangerine Express. That's the next one here. Stone Tangerine Express Hazy IPA. Hazy India Pale Ale with tangerine and pineapple. 6.7% ABV. And we're back to having some write-ups on the label. A tropical hazy IPA with tangerine and pineapple. This creation's uniquely hazy appearance is a credit to the glorious whole tangerine puree in every batch. Using the whole fruit allows us to harness every bit of its natural depth of character, from the juice to the zest and everything in between. Add just the right amount of pineapple, and this being Stone, a whole lot of hops, and this beer is rounded off in an amazingly hazily, citrusy, tasty paradise of flavors and aromas. Now, tangerine I'm good with. Pineapple I'm good with. It's mango and peach flavors that seem to not sit well with me in certain beers, especially when they're artificial versions of those flavors. The natural ones, not so much. But I don't even know why I'm bringing either of those up, because again, this is Tangerine Express with pineapple. Holy shit, they weren't kidding about the hazy. Tons of particulates in that. Look at that. That's not just hazy. That is chunky. That is a chunky fucking beer. Okay? Look, I mentioned before my aversion to particulates in beers. Here's the bottom line. I know that it's not going to be like chunks on my tongue. I know it's not going to be actually chewing before I swallow. But look at the fucking flocculent and fleculent particulates in that fucking beer. That is just off-putting to me. It does not fucking sit right with me to see flecks floating around in my beer. This is a very hazy beer because it's got big fucking chunks in it. Look, I'm sorry about that. The bottom line is I don't like it when that shit happens. If I can see chunks in the beer, it doesn't work for me visually. And again, I've reached a point in my life where that initial off-putting visualization doesn't mean as much, because I know in the back of my mind this is going to be a smooth, not chunky beer, but at the same time it just looks like it's going to have a shitty texture, and that just throws me off. But nice, slightly sweet citrusy aroma, light tangerine. Doesn't smell chunky. Smells like fucking tangerine with a hint of hobby bitterness. Nice, medium, non-chunky mouthfeel. The visual appearance belies the actual experience. It's just as smooth as any of these other beers. It's got a nice, full-on, upfront, hoppy bitterness that fades to a citrusy note with tangerine overtones, and then kind of goes into this earthy and grassy note. It's pretty decent overall and has a basic tangerine flavor. 6.7% ABV. I think I mentioned that up at the top of the video, but I'm just mentioning it now because I forgot. Pardon. Despite the initial visceral reaction to this beer, this is very off-putting, excuse me. But again, something I have learned to deal with over the years, because more and more beers have had that kind of appearance and not had a negative impact texture-wise, whatever. You know what I'm saying. It doesn't look as it doesn't feel as chunky as it looks. Pull that back and just rate it. It's 3.5 out of 5. It's good beer overall. Decent. Nice IPA. Citrusy, tangy, slightly sweet. Good overall, and not nearly as gross as I thought it would be based on the appearance. I'm trying not to pull points back based on the appearance, but I'm also trying not to award it additional points based on the fact that I overcame my aversion to the appearance. So I'm sitting at 3.5 out of 5. It's a decent tangerine flavored IPA. Some major haziness and some fucking chunks in it. I'm going to finish it up. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, next up. This is the one, folks. This is Ruin 10. Where are we? Ruin 10. Ruination IPA. 8.2% ABV. Ruination is rugged. Sorry, it's been a little while since I downed the Tangerine Express because I've got to pace things. Because we're looking at Ruination at 8.2. Next up is Lemon Shark at 9.6. Then we get to relax a little bit. It's Neverending Haze at 4%. And then the To IPA, 4.7. But Ruination at 8.2. And then the next one. Fuck. Man. I've kind of paced these out. It was 3 p.m. when I started. I think it was 3 p.m. It's 11 p.m. now. And yeah. I got 4 beers to go. I mean, I wanted to get these done within a 12-hour period. At the same time, I don't want to be up till like 3 in the morning to do them. Shit. Hang on. There's a write-up on this one. Ruination. Throughout our history, we've built a fairly deserved reputation for being obsessed with massively hoppy IPAs. And the groundbreaking creation you have before you is largely responsible for that legacy. Yes, no doubt about that. Did you know that Stone Ruination IPA was the first year-round brewed and bottled West Coast double IPA on the planet? I'm sure I knew that because I've read it before on the label, but I always forget. True story. As the technology and techniques for maximizing hoppy goodness evolved over the years, so too did this beer. Yet we still look back fondly on the impression it left on the palates of many. As a tribute to its roots, We're bringing it back for a limited time in its original old school form. The quintessential representation of the West Coast double IPA. Yeah, Ruination. 1 pound of hops per barrel. Now, I miss Ruin 10, which is even worse. Worse being a relative term here. 10 pounds of hops per barrel. But Ruination, I'll take it. Anytime. It's massively hoppy, and again, 8.2% ABV is nothing to sneeze at. Slightly hazy, not completely hazy, no particulates, very, very effervescent, nice coppery golden color, copper gold. I'll stick with that. Nice, full on. Hoppy aroma. Maybe some metallic hints there. Metallic being an undertone of earthiness. Yeah, I'm basically getting some slightly metallic notes there. Okay, here we go. Nice medium mouthfeel. Oh God, it's so bitterly hoppy. I mean, no hint of that fucking high ABV at all. It's all overwhelmed by the hoppiness of the beer. But it is like this perfect blend of hoppiness. Up front, there is this like tropical fruit with coconut. That quickly fades. I'm doing the smacking thing because I'm trying to keep this whole this whole flavor sitting there on the back of my palate, and it's that tropically fruity bitterness up front. Resolves, well, with a hint of coconut, maybe. Resolves down into like this citrusy, piney, yet also earthy and floral character. Somehow, hints of grassiness and dankness underneath. Somehow is all those different hop esters without being cloyingly hoppy, but it's like it's almost there. It's almost too much, but it's not too much. It's just the right amount of hoppiness, and it's bringing forth all those different esters and flavor elements. It's just fucking amazing. Ruination is getting a 5 out of 5 again. I think it always does, because there's just all these different hop elements. Pardon. Again, it's just on the cusp of being too much, but it's not too much. It's just fucking amazing, and there are very few beers out there that can reach this, and I think Ruination is probably unique amongst that field. it's just, like I said, it's almost overwhelming, but it's not. It's just as close as you can get. But it still has, pardon, it's not even that late at night. It still has all these amazing elements of hoppiness that just go together so well. And the beer itself is a solid base for holding those together. 5 out of 5 on Ruination. I'm going to finish this up, take my time and savor it. We're going to move on to the next beer after that. All right, next up in the lineup is Stone's 27th Anniversary IPA, Lemon Shark. 27th Anniversary Double IPA. 9.6% ABV. Holy shit. From 9.6. Thank God the next two are at 4 and change. Less than 5 anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty fucking drunk at this point. So just for the record, it is what it is. 27th Anniversary Lemon Shark Double IPA. A double IPA, 27 years in the making. Oh, their last anniversary beer was 26 years in the making. Okay. Sarcasm aside. For this year's anniversary beer, we found inspiration in the Southern Hemisphere. This double IPA is brewed with peacherine and Riwaka hops. Peacherine and Riwaka. Man, okay, at least they have names instead of just numbers, but still, hops. The hop strains are getting out of fucking control, man. We'll stick with the basics. Fuck, there's like thousands of them. It's like weed. Yeah. Peacherine in Riwaka hops, along with a special ingredient called Phantasm, an extract from a Sauvignon Blanc grape skins. Phantasm, an extract from Sauvignon Blanc grape skins. Okay, I get an extract from Sauvignon Blanc grape skins, but Phantasm, a little bit out there for me. Anyway, all sourced from New Zealand. All right, fine. Thank the fucking Kiwis for this brew. Combined with some good old-fashioned mosaic hops from the U.S. Holy shit! A plain ingredient! And an amped-up grain bill. No description there. And we've got ourselves a unique sensory experience. I bet full of dankness and tropical citrusy notes. Coming in at smooth 9.6% in honor of the year we started, 1996. A smooth 9.6%. Well, it's not impossible, but you and I both know that when we get above 8% and we're approaching double digits, smooth experience becomes less and less likely. But if anybody can pull it off, it's Stone. It's not like I have not had beers from them that were at 10% or above and weren't smooth. So, damn, that was effervescent. Got a good pour and a good head on. Oh. Wow. Can't see much difference between the bottom of the beer and the top. There's another one loaded with particulates. I'm not going to go off on that tangent again, but there are literally particulates large enough to be called chunks floating in this fucking beer. It's hazy as hell. dark and juicy looking. I'm seeing very large flocculent particulates in there. Promised I wasn't going to go off on that tangent again, so. Kind of a neutral aroma. Maybe a general citrusy smell. Possibly a hint of earthiness underneath that, but. Nice medium mouthfeel. Once again, despite appearances, it's smooth and there is no evidence of particulates in the mouthfeel. Looks like there would be, because there's some big ass fucking flex, but going down smooth. There's a very tropical character to it. A tropical fruitiness. Like mango, maybe peach. Just coconut. Just that whole fucking tropical fruit blend. Hints of grassiness, hints of earthiness. But just kind of blends into an overall hoppy bitterness. Easy to drink, and at almost 10% ABV, you would never know it because you can't taste it in there. There is no hint of booziness. This is like a tropical drink without the ice. So smooth, going down easy. Holy shit. I gotta drop Lemon Shark here, a full-on 5 out of 5. I'm blown away by how good it is, how smooth it is, and how awesome it is. Pardon. Even the burps, I'm not getting anything different than what I've described before, but it's just perfectly well put together. Whew, pardon. I'm hanging at that 5 out of 5. That's where I'm at. I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to move on to the next beer. Well, at least we're on the downslope. All right. Neverending Haze IPA is at 4% ABV, which is definitely less than half of the previous beer. Lemon Shark at 9.6%. Holy shit. I know, I keep double checking the numbers. I'm gonna be paying for that. Alright. 4% ABV Neverending Haze IPA. Limitless flavor. There's a lot never-ending about IPAs around Stone. Beginning with Stone IPA being one of the very first and most popular West Coast style IPAs on the planet. To our celebrated explorations of double IPAs, session IPAs, fruited IPAs, and ultra fresh triple IPAs. Gotta love them triples. Kick your ass, but worth it. Most of the time. They're an integral part of our legacy. Plus, there's the oft said, but not actually true, comments from some that all Stone does is IPAs. That's definitely not fucking true, man. The Stone has got some solid stouts, porters, IPAs, Kolsch's. Similar to Kolsch's. What was the other bready style? Anyway, I don't think I've seen them delve into sours, but honestly, they're not just about IPAs. They have tons of good other beers, but they've also tapped into the demand in the market for good IPAs. They make a lot of good IPAs, at least 12 this year. Anyway, it's not all they do, though. Arrogant Bastard Ale has spun off into its own Arrogant Bastard Consortium brewery. That's a nice, solid fucking set of beers there. Double Bastard. Double Bastard, I think, is coming back this year. Alright. Arrogant Bastard Ale and all of its iterations. Not IPAs, but good fucking beers that came from Stone originally. If you think that's all they do is IPAs, you're not paying attention. Anyway, all right. Back to the label. Ha, yes, we may love them passionately and perpetually. Be on a quest for IPA nirvana. I might have reached it with Ruin 10, but this particular one actually happened onto the scene to aid in your noble pursuit of never-ending good times. Alright, so 4% ABV, Stone, Neverending Haze IPA. And I've said it before, lots of breweries have got an IPA heavy catalog and they're not capable of doing anything else. But Stone is not one of those. When they do make an IPA, they make it good. Some of them might stand out from the crowd better than others, but they're always good. Other breweries have like 12 IPAs on tap out of 13 or 14 beers on their menu, and all 12 of them are crap. There's the market demands IPAs. But that's beside the point. A good IPA is still a good IPA. And while Stone is notable for having a lot of good IPAs, it's not their only fucking game. So, Neverending Haze is pretty fucking hazy. There's a few bubbles coming up from the bottom. Not a lot of particulates, but still hazy. So, it's very, very cloudy. Light yellow to a dark orange. But again, extremely hazy based on the particulates. Getting a citrus aroma off that. Sorry, I got hiccups trying to break through here. I think I just successfully tamped them down. Definitely citrus overtones. Other than that, maybe a hint of grassiness. Medium light mouthfeel. Oh. There's the full blown hiccups. So annoyed. Goddamn. Especially the inconveniently timed hiccups. Fucking A. Probably sound and look like an old school cartoon hiccuping drunk. Not too far from the fucking truth at this point. So, anyway. It's a damn good IPA. It's nice and smooth. I'm getting a lot of different hop esters from it. Nothing too mind-blowing, though. Another 3.5 out of 5. IPA. That's where I'm at on that. I'm going to finish this up. And we'll... Hick. Might as well, I have a little word bubble coming out of my fucking head that says hick. And like... 1, 2, 3 drunk coming out of my mouth. Alright. Try to throw this off and then we'll have things up with the last beer in the pack, the Stone. Oh shit. Yeah. Go To IPA. Yeah. Whatever. Here we go. Last one in a couple of minutes when I throw off these hiccups. Alright, here we are, up to the 12th and final beer. This is Stone's Go-To IPA, which... gotta tell you from experience, go-to really this is a go-to for me. A vibrant hop bursted session IPA, 4.7% ABV. So a little bit more than the 4% on the Neverending Haze. Stone Go-To IPA, a vibrant hop bursted session IPA. Since day one, we've been abundantly forthright and fully transparent about our lust for hops. It's led us to craft many an IPA, most of them imperial, some intense for their time and all timeliness in their intensity. For Stone Go-To IPA, we are embracing our hop obsession in a new way, founding an abundance of lupulin-born bitterness into a session IPA, delivering all the fruity, piney character of a much bigger IPA. To accomplish this, we employed hop bursting, a technique wherein an irrational amount of hops is added during the final phase of the brewing process to coax out extreme flavors and aromas, while also imparting a burst of desirably pleasant bitterness the result is an alpha acid rich beer that you can enjoy more of without missing out on the assertive hop character you, like us, crave. So, sit back and go to TWO. Go to with your new everyday go-to IPA and bask along with us in the glory of the almighty hop. Now that took entirely too long to read, but I'm just going to point this out. The go-to IPA is at a 8.2% ABV. No, 4.7%. Sorry, Ruination is 8.2%. This 12-pack has taken me less than 12 hours to do. One second here, just checking. It's 1:33 in the morning. I started this around 3 o'clock p.m. So, like 10 and a half, 10 to, let's just say 11 hours to do. And 12 of these beers in 11 hours. That's relatively impressive, folks. I'm not gonna fucking downplay this shit for the sake of humility, but I'm also gonna say that I am way more drunk than I would prefer when it comes to evaluating these beers. Objectively. Go-to IPA has always been one of my favorites. It's just plain old. Overall, nice hoppy bitterness. Nothing specific coming forward, just all the esters working together perfectly. I forgot to give you a look at. A slightly hazy, nice golden IPA with some pretty decent effervescence. Lots of bubbles coming up from those nucleation points in the bottom of the glass. It's a beautiful looking beer. Golden hue. Again, a nice medium mouthfeel. Overall hoppy bitterness gets you with a big punch of everything. Citrus, pine, fruitiness, dankness, earthiness, and floral. All at once. Grassy notes. It's again, it just going back to the name, it's a go-to IPA. It's well-rounded. It's good. It's well-balanced. It's just delicious. But again, it's not getting as many points as it might have at one point in time because there are other beers with a similar character that bring all the same things to the table. So I'm hitting it with a 4 and a 5. That's where I'm at. I've talked about this before. It's great. It's 100% delicious. It's got everything I expected it to be, but there's just so many other beers out there competing with it for the same type of thing. It's just not quite blowing me away. So we're at as a 4 out of 5. Anyway, that's 12 out of 12 in less than 12 hours. Fuck. Hit me up down below in the comments or the email link. Love to hear what you have to say about any of these particular beers individually or the whole pack as a whole. Whether you agree or disagree with me, I still want to hear from you. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers. And let me know if you spot the Clown Shoes 12 Beers of Christmas pack near you, because that's my next big conquest. Other than that, we're just doing 12 packs and 6 packs and other variety packs. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Oh, no, I'm just done.